Welcome to our webisode. Let's talk about it. Conversations in sexual and reproductive health rights and justice. My name is Leena and I'm the host for today's webisode. Thank you for watching. We have an amazing speaker as our guest today, so we're really excited to hear about their conversation. First, we'll start off with an introduction to Gerla, followed by an introduction to today's guest. And then finally, we'll begin with the interview with the speaker. As a global community, there are over 200,000 girls and youth leaders in the Girl Up community across 152 countries. So, how can you get involved? You can start a club or find a club near you to get connected to an amazing network of change makers. You can join our online community to connect with our network of girl leaders working together for gender equality. So this is a little about our webinar series. We're working on developing the skill set of our leaders to tackle the field of sexual and reproductive health rights and justice. Beyond skills, our young leaders need to be inspired to act. Hearing from leaders who can share their stories and help inspire a new generation. Here's a little about today's speaker. Nelson loves Africa. His experiences as an African child inspired him to connect to his professional missions, to coaching and supporting rural adolescents to enjoy the best there is, to the SRHRJ vision. When he recounts the world, he believes that youth, particularly girls, have all it takes to rise above the doldrums. Nelson is a coach, orator, and advocate for equality with a mission to make girls win. My name is Leena and I'm hosting today's webisode. I'm passionate about climate action, gender equality, and education access. I am a social entrepreneur, writer, and a prolific public speaker and talk about sustainable businesses, climate action, gender equality, and everything in between. So now let's dive into the interview. So Nelson, my first question would be, what inspired you to promote sexual and reproductive health rights and equity among young leaders?
Leena, first of all, thank you so much for having me. And I want to say big thank you to the Girl Up International community for this webisode. Pragati, who has been very instrumental in making us have this encounter. I really appreciate the platform to articulate my project and my organization and the motivation behind all that. So I live in a rural community in Ghana, West Africa, and I founded the organization called Local Development Agency on Reproductive and Maternal Health, basically due to my experiences on the ground. In my community, quite a lot of young people, particularly girls, struggle to go through life successfully. Many times their sexual life experiences put them on a derailment. They move away from their ambitions. Teen pregnancy keep girls out of school. Getting back to school becomes difficult because we have head teachers who say, oh, that girl has given birth. And so if you bring her back to the school, she's going to spoil the other girls who have not yet given birth. When young people are suffering from sexually transmitted diseases, they keep it in their boxes and in their panties because the stigma around conversations around sex is always keeping young people from talking about their experiences. And when it is that kind of danger, they still don't know where to turn to. So my organization has been more inspired to support young people. If you look at young people who are making it, progressing steadily on the academic and professional ladder, many of them have had to keep their heads high and avoid, issues like unwarranted sexual exposure. So these are issues I see that they have real impact on how young people can live their dreams. And I committed to contribute my quota, joining the international communities, working on these issues, learning from the experiences of others, and making it happen in my small community. So that's the motivation and drive.
That was an inspiring story. Now, moving forward, what does gender equality mean to you? And how do you think it's connected to sexual and reproductive health rights?
Awesome. Leena, gender equality basically has been understood to mean equal opportunities, equitable distribution of our very resources that keep some on the high and some on the low. If we're able to equalize opportunities for everyone, irrespective whether you are a boy or a girl, then it means we are moving towards making everybody put up the best on the table. And if you look at communities like mine, where it's easier for parents when they encounter financial difficulties to say, okay, you are the girl, so step back and let your brother move forward. It's real. I'm not telling it. Numerous experiences are indicating that chances of boys rising to higher levels in education, getting better paid jobs exist. And girls are the ones that suffer most. So gender equality really means a lot in terms of everything our society today considers. And it requires that we also don't sit idle and expect things to happen naturally. We have to work towards the change that we are envisioning. What it has been on my agenda is to give more girls the priority in our programming and to inspire more girls to know that they can challenge themselves beyond the challenges that we currently face. Gender equality will definitely give us more dividends in terms of keeping our homes active. Who contributes to the table, we can have the numbers. When girls and boys are able to contribute equally to the table, it makes everyone relax. No one takes too much burden, and then it's great for men and boys to support the cause for. But I see that it's not only also about shifting all the concern to girls. Boys have our challenges in the gender equality, discussions, and I also want to see that we don't over focus on girls, so that very soon or later we realize that we could have driven together instead of just supporting one side of the equation. So I think that gender equality is everything we must put our heads to in everything development today.
Those were some amazing insights, and I agree with it. Before we move on, I'd like to know what has been your journey from when you started to today as a leader.
Awesome. My journey has been one of doing things more informally. When I say informally, I realized that I'm more passionate about helping my other colleagues when I was in my teenagers to find, good information around issues on their sexual and reproductive health. And then I go to the teacher training college, become trained as a teacher. And in the classroom, I don't only focus on the curriculum. I'm doing everything to make young people know that their sexual lifestyles can affect their ability to progress on any ladder, be it academic or professional, and then giving them the tidbits they need to stay upbeat on the issues that drive them away. So from there, I entered the university. I enrolled in population and family life. And then there is a course on adolescents, introduction to adolescent sexual reproductive health and rights. And everything about this course is revealing the statistics about, the issues from premarital sex to early marriages to safe abortion. And I see the statistics and then the pictures in my home community reveal on my eyes. And I say, wow, so this is really well documented to this extent. What I've been seeing is not fictional. Then I have to find a way to put momentum into this, contribute to however I can so that we can make the change happen. So I talked to my economics friend, my friend who is pursuing economics in the same university, University of Cape Coast. I said, yeah, I want us to found an NGO. And then he said, yeah, that would be great so that we can do this more, professionally. I said, yeah. So at level 200 of my university, I am combining learning with registering my nonprofit organization and then moving back to my community to, look at how we get it actualized on the ground. And then from there, I get to know that the nonprofit world is a whole sector on its own that I need to equip myself with different kind of skill sets. I need to understand how fundraising works. I need to understand how strategic planning works, how engaging different stakeholders becomes possible, how mobilizing the people, young people, to rally and drive the change we are ambitioning for. So I had to learn a lot along the way, but I'm very happy that it put weight on me. I became more versatile in my field, and I began to be able to set up different stages for stakeholders to have engagements and conversations on the issues that we are working on and dealing with. Approach different people and stakeholders to solicit for support and funding and anything logistics. And I was amazed by the kind of support that come on board. It makes me feel that then I'm not the only one in this. So it keeps my momentum going. That's how I really started getting these activities more professionally done till this time. Yeah.
Well, it was great to hear about your advocacy journey. So, based on what we've discussed so far, I'd like to ask you, what are the some of the biggest sexual and reproductive health rights and justice issues in recent times in Ghana?
In recent times, I wouldn't want to jump the issue of LGBTQI. I mean, Ghana is such a contentious and controversial subject matter currently. And that's also because there is a bill that is introduced into the Ghanaian parliament called the, what is it? Something family, family bill. Basically, it's a bill that seeks to say promotion of proper family something, and it seeks to kind of put blockades on the way to sexual freedoms, and it's really generated a lot of conversations. Some are arguing that this bill is definitely going to keep the danger that LGBT plus people already experience in the country. This bill is going to make it worse for people with different sexual orientations to even exist. And that has been going on. So this is one of the biggest issues currently on the table if you in the sexual reproductive health space in Ghana. But I think it has not also overshadowed other issues such as early marriages among young girls, particularly in the northern sector of the country. And when you come down south here, unsafe abortion is on the rise. The statistics are very alarming. So these are some of the top issues in my country that are gaining the attention.
Okay, I learned a lot from what you mentioned. Now, moving on to my next question. What does your day-to-day work on sexual and reproductive health looks like?
Thank you so much. So when I wake up in the morning, I have scheduled the week, a week long. I have week activities for myself. Mondays I keep working on, looking at official issues like responding to emails, and Tuesdays mostly I do community visits. So I may go to the next village, meet with chiefs or DICRO or assembly members, discuss how their community can support girls in the bring them on board any project that we might be running. Mostly Wednesdays, I'll visit school clubs. We have school clubs in different schools. I'll visit and check on the schools, how the clubs are functioning. And yeah, Thursdays, I mostly would focus more on analyzing and holding, analyzing our activities, and then seeing the challenges that need to be addressed, the way forward for what we do. And Fridays, many times I combine having relaxed day with still keeping the project teams active. So we mostly will have evening dinner, simply prepared meals from different people and project team members, and then we discuss around our projects and the next steps we need to take. That's how I spend my day or my week.
That was really inspiring to know. And
Yeah.
based on what we've discussed so far, what are the biggest challenges you faced working on these issues? And how did you overcome them?
Okay, all right. When we talk about challenges for me, yeah, they are numerous, but nonetheless, for my organization, our strategic way of approaching everything we do is to look at challenges from the lens of opportunities, because we know the high riskier issues have the highest dividends hiding in them. So we definitely love challenges. Talking about specific challenges, the challenge of having adequate funding to materialize our vision is key. Particularly, I see that if you are not aligning with coalitions, and you exist as a local NGO, it's quite difficult to mobilize funding. That said, I should also say that we have, on the issue of funding, we have currently, for example, been able to receive a generous funding support from the Child Rights Innovation Fund based in the United States. That funding definitely is going to be a game changer, because we are hoping to materialize our Girls Hub project. And while it is Girl Hub International, it's about girls, and we are being funded by CRIF, Child Rights Innovation Fund, to put up a Girls Hub. I think Girl Hub International will come in different ways to also help us stock the hub, activate different projects within the hub. It's Girls Hub right here in my community. We're going to put it up, give room for young girls to perform theater, tell their stories, have places of convenience to change their sanitary pads when they are in school. So that is that. And another challenge has to do with traditional norms that mostly are crafted in such a way that it's difficult to penetrate and suggest other ways of doing the same thing. So communicating about what we do has also been challenging, but not one that is insurmountable. It has also revealed how we can position our activity to not always attract conflict, but rather the support of diverse, stakeholders who have diverse opinions about what we do. So that is also challenging, but nonetheless, we make sure we put the strategic interventions in place to address that. And yeah, sometimes, the challenge also is that you make progress and you see other, organizations or institutions deliberately coming out with different interventions that erode the gains of our interventions. So if care is not taken, you make a step forward and then there is another step back. And that is where it is important that we usually will engage more with many stakeholders, see what they are already doing, then we look at how we align our interests, and then we don't have that kind of conflicting positions. Yeah, so these are some of the challenges we face. And we also face challenges with getting different skill sets to coach girls. As I speak with you, I am looking at how we can help young girls to have skills such as film editing, photo editing, photography, but the master trainers to kind of who have these kind of skills to share with other young girls is not forthcoming. And so these are challenging issues. You wish to add more value to girls, but the people to support the process become, but nonetheless, we're looking at strategic volunteering, option where people like you who have gone high on the radar can say, okay, in 2023, I'll dedicate 1 month to share strategic skills like public speaking with Nelson's organization. And we will be very happy to have that. Yeah, so some of the challenges, not all, but like I said, is a challenge that makes us exist. So we have a positive, look on it.
I think there's a lot that can be learned from your challenging experiences. Now let's transition to dive into another important aspect of our discussion. What have been your biggest learnings as an advocate for sexual and reproductive health rights and justice?
Okay, my biggest learning is that as young people in this space, we have to be open-minded, be very, patient, and exercise wisdom in taking positions. We need not also to easily fall into the trap of ideological, position taking where everything else becomes blocked on the way. We need to open up. There are different, dilemmas in dealing with the same issue. And I think that I've learned to be more patient, to hear more, and then to be able to put on critical analysis and persuade even those that oppose my position, my organization's approach or position to come on board eventually. That is one learning. The other learning is about being more forward thinking, not just seeing things as they are now, but to be able to project whatever we're doing in the long span and be able to envisage the different kind of scenarios that pop up and be able then to judge ahead of time how what we do is definitely going to end up. I think these are a few of the learnings I would want to put on the table.
Well, those were some really insightful learnings. And now moving on to my last question. What would be your message to our young and budding leaders who are passionate about sexual and reproductive health rights and issues?
I would say that the arena of sexual reproductive health rights and justice has enormous opportunities to improve your professional prospects. It has enormous opportunities for you to add your voice to global issues and to be the change that you aspire for the world. If I can relate that to Gandhi, So for any young person who wants to engage in this sector, be very focused, be goal-driven, set clear goals for yourself, why are you in this space? What do you want to contribute to it that nobody else can, do better? What can understand the opportunities you have to make it happen? Build networks. Networks are valuable because apart from the experiences that you add to your own experiences, you get different kind of support for what you do. So build networks, strategic networks, and definitely keep the passion high. Be passionate about everything you commit to do, so that it's not easy for you to be swayed off the lane. Yeah.
That was truly an inspirational message. Thank you, Nelson, for your insightful and informative answers. And thank you all for watching our episode about sexual and reproductive health rights and justice. Before we close, I want to take a few moments to recap what we've discussed. Today, we explored the topic of sexual and reproductive rights and justice, examining the various aspects of this complex issue. we dived into the we dived and explored both the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. Through our discussions, we discovered that sexual and reproductive health is not just a basic human right, it's an equity issue that requires prioritization and action to ensure everyone has access to care and resources they need to make informed decisions about their bodies and lives. We also
Exactly.
explored some potential solutions and strategies for addressing these challenges and examined how individuals can take action to make a difference. We hope that this webisode inspired you to think more and deeply about this issue and its impact on our world. We encourage you to continue exploring this topic, engaging in conversation with others, and seeking out opportunities to get involved in meaningful ways. As we wrap up, we want to thank our guest speaker, Nelson, for sharing his insights and expertise with us. Finally, we want to remind you that this is just the beginning. Our hope is that this episode will spark ongoing conversations and actions around sexual and reproductive health rights, and that we all can work together to create a better future for ourselves, our communities, and beyond. Thank you once again for joining us.